Ali Larijani, who is the Iranian politician, military officer, and a philosopher who has served as the Secretary of the Supreme National Security Council. I'm talking about Iran. He has been assassinated as of yesterday, and this morning, Iranian news outlets have confirmed the manner. More on towards this. However, in the United States, we have another U.S. counterterrorism official, Joe Kent, resigning from his position, stating that it was a wrong move to attack Iran as they did not mean any immediate threat. I want to begin with Norman Floyd Barnes. What is your observations? There are some huge updates coming on day 19.
Yes, greetings from Washington this morning. Yes, as you stated, we have some great news, but big news regarding the war. The situation, the U.S. has decided to drop some 500 pounds bombs on the coast of Iran as a missile sites. As a result, of course, Iran responded by attacking more sites in Israel and the UAE and the Gulf states. So this back and forth battle goes on. At the same time, there's like I said, the assassination of the high-ranking official in Iran is causing concern, but the regime appears to be intact moving forward, but because of his knowledge, his skills, and his time, it has to have an effect on the leadership. But we move on. Here in the United States, Joe Kent, the counterterrorism official, put in his resignation stating that he's unable to follow the Trump's administration mission and plan regarding the war. He feels that it's something that we should not be involved in. There is no imminent threat to the United States, and he feels that it's something that we was coaxed in, we was impacted and basically influenced by Israel to get involved in this. So that has
Right.
caused a lot of controversy, a lot of conversations amongst the lawmakers and the people here in the States. Even though this gentleman has some background himself, it appears that he has agreement with his people, who even the Democrats who wanted him not to be appointed, that this war is something that we have to question, and we still can't figure out why we're in it. And the support issue is now coming up as the United States and the people, we are struggling, trying to figure out exactly what's going on. The prices of everything is rising, the
Correct.
gasoline, the airports. The airports had another big issue is that the airports is having a real problem in the United States, the infrastructure. The TSA and employees, the federal employees that we employ are now leaving the jobs because they have not been paid. And they can't afford it, and a lot of people are quitting. And the lines, like we was looking at in Atlanta yesterday, it was like 3 hours long
Right.
just to get into the areas. So this is going to cause a problem into the transportation infrastructure as we get into the holiday season, Easter coming up. The
Right.
issue of transportation and moving around is going to be a question. Some officials have stated that some of the airports will have to close, the smaller ones, because they don't have staff to deal with this. So this is something that will probably be brought hopefully to the president's table, and he will be able to make some adjustments to avoid this problem that we're going to have, this movement of transportation problem, in addition to
Right.
everything else going on. So that's what's happening right now in Washington, D.C. We had an election in Illinois yesterday, and the Democrat, part of the upcoming uh, midterms.
Right.
The Democratic Party had the lieutenant governor has won the nomination for the primary. So we have the politics, we have the economic issues going on, and we have a war which many people, including myself, still can't understand why.
Right. You often title this a hot mess. Sir in the studio has used the word complete mess. So I want to understand what is the future of this. Especially, we see that the many layers of Iranian leadership, even after having them decapitated, but there's still leadership happening. The Strait of Hormuz is effectively closed. NATO has now stepped in, and the US seems to lose more than it's
European
to
Union
gain.
has stepped out almost.
The EU has stepped out as well. I want to understand from Norman, what is, how are you feeling about this? How do you see this?
Well, my analysis is that this hot mess, extreme mess, is going to becoming a situation where it's affecting how the world is going to move forward. We are in the process of a major shift in terms of how we relate, how we do business, how the war is just a transitional instrument, a tool to make this change. Uh, Change is already happening as we speak. Today is different from yesterday. We're not going to go back to anything. So the notion of going back to a peaceful or the same old stuff is no longer applicable. It can't not happen. We have started the process, and people are now have to make these adjustments. We're looking at situations that we were vulnerable in. You're seeing it now because of the process and how it's affecting the world order. So the world order has to now recognize this is a problem, and they have to make adjustments to move forward. Alternatives have to be made, different routes, different communications, different relationships, different terms have to be looked at, and then even the point of currency. What type of currency we're going to utilize now? We have to look at that. What makes the world move? We have to understand the concept because this war is just an indicator of a problem that we've been having over the last several decades, the transition, how we move forward. So now we're seeing the results of this issue that hasn't been addressed. It's just been played with and allowed and tolerated. Now we're into a conflict now where now the terms has changed. And even if both parties, all parties say, hey, let's stop and go to a ceasefire, the world has shifted. You can't go back. It's no going back. It's how we move forward. So the conversation should be about how do we coexist? How do we move forward? How do we recover from this? How do we get over after we decide not to stop killing ourselves? How do we coexist and how do we make better business, better
Right.
opportunities? So everybody has to understand that you can't go back. You started something, the Pandora's box open, and now we have to figure out how we're going to move forward. Because if we don't, we're going to go back to the same problem. It's going to be worse, and we're going to have a world, a global issue. So everybody's saying that we're vulnerable
Of
even though
course.
say, hey, I'm not involved in an area, I'm not in a region, but you are because your resources, the cost of doing things, the business, everything is affected on this critical infrastructure issue because it
Right.
hasn't been addressed on a global scale. So everybody's involved in this now. So it's no, it's them or they or over there.
Right.
No, it affects you directly.